Maya Lewis followed the rules until a police officer decided her success was a threat. Pulled over for nothing more than her luxury car, she exposed his bias, risking his career and changing both their lives. What happened next shocked even the most seasoned. But let's start from the beginning. Maya Lewis, a woman in her late 40s with sharp, intelligent eyes, sat in the driver's seat of her sleek black sedan, the hum of the engine blending with the rhythm of the tires against the asphalt. She was accustomed to this feeling of power, the comforting purr of a well-maintained luxury car beneath her. The clock on her dashboard blinked 3:45 p.m. She was running late for the meeting that could shift the course of her career. The state's most significant police reform initiative, one she had spearheaded, was scheduled for discussion, and Maya knew how critical it was. She needed to make up for lost time. She pressed her foot gently to the accelerator, the needle on the speedometer creeping up, but well within the legal limit. For a moment, the world seemed to fall away, until the shrill sound of a police siren sliced through the calm, jarring her back to reality. Maya's heart skipped a beat. Her first thought, "I've followed the law. What's going on?" She instinctively eased her foot off the gas and pulled over to the side of the highway, her fingers tightening on the steering wheel. The officer's car stopped behind hers, the flashing lights reflecting off the rear-view mirror. A moment later, Officer Jackson Meyer appeared at her window. His face was unreadable, yet his eyes held an unmistakable glint of suspicion. "Ma'am, do you know why I stopped you?" he asked, his tone sharp, almost accusing. Maya took a deep breath, her posture remaining calm and composed. "I was speeding, officer? I don't think I was—" she began, her voice confident but measured. The officer cut her off, his gaze hardening. "I'm going to need to check your documents. Something doesn't feel right." There was a subtle but undeniable change in his demeanor, a growing hostility that Maya couldn't quite place. Her nerves prickled. What could he possibly suspect? She complied, handing over her driver's license and registration, but the anxiety gnawed at her. Was this just a routine stop, or was there something more beneath the surface? The officer's voice became harsher as he demanded further details. His body language, rigid and dismissive, made it clear he wasn't satisfied with her answers. Why was he so agitated? Maya wondered. She had followed the rules, always. So why was she the one being scrutinized? The tension between Maya and Officer Jackson Meyer thickened as he continued to stand by her window, his posture now rigid, almost confrontational. Without any explanation or reason, his eyes briefly flicked over her car, his gaze lingering with a judgmental intensity. Then, the words came, sharp and cutting. "You know," Jackson began, his voice dripping with disdain, "this car of yours? It's a symbol, flashy wealth. Someone like you doesn't just drive a car like this without being backed by someone, some powerful figure." Maya's chest tightened, a hot rush of anger surging up from her gut. What was he implying? The insinuation was clear. Her success, her accomplishments, everything she had worked for, was somehow tainted, tied to something shady or immoral. She clenched her jaw, feeling the words scrape at her, each one like a needle. Why should the way I choose to live my life matter to him? Her fingers, which had been resting calmly on the wheel, now tightened. She was a successful lawyer and activist, someone who had earned every single thing she had. The audacity of his words, their judgment of her success, the assumption of guilt based purely on her appearance, was enough to set her nerves on edge. Her mind raced as Jackson's next words hit her like a slap. "I'm going to search your car," he said flatly, as if it were his right. "No," Maya snapped, her voice cutting through the tension. "You have no reason to search my car. What are you even looking for?" Jackson's eyes narrowed, and the anger in his expression deepened. He didn't respond, instead motioning for her to step out of the car. Maya's heart pounded, the unfairness of it all washing over her. This wasn't just a routine stop. It wasn't even about the law anymore. It was a personal attack, an attempt to strip her of her dignity and belittle everything she had fought for. She wasn't just a woman in a fancy car. She was someone who had spent her life advocating for justice, equality, and a better world. To be reduced to this, hurt more than she could express. Her anger flared, but it was something deeper than just frustration. It was the raw sting of injustice. She had spent years building a career to make things better, only to have this man see none of it, only the car and the assumptions attached to it. Maya refused to let him break her. She would not be humiliated. Not by him. Not by anyone. Maya took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. She wasn't going to let this moment slide, not after everything that had happened. With controlled calm, she turned to Officer Jackson and said, her voice firm but unyielding, "I'm a state senator. I'm the one who initiated the police reform bill." For a long moment, there was nothing but silence. Jackson blinked, caught off guard. His gaze flickered to her face, his expression unreadable, but a quick flash of realization passed through his eyes. The words, "state senator," seemed to hang in the air, his mind racing. Could this woman, the one he had been treating like just another entitled, lawless driver, be the same person behind the bill that could upend his entire profession? A quiet tension settled between them. He knew instantly that his actions, his treatment of her, could ignite a scandal of enormous proportions. The weight of that realization seemed to settle on his shoulders, though his pride wouldn't let him back down. But Maya was done holding back. Her voice rose, thick with emotion, every word burning with the fury she'd kept bottled up for so long. "You know what this is? This is the same old system, the one that's always ready to judge me, to humiliate me for being a woman, for being African American. You think you can get away with this, just because you've got a badge?" Her words stung, a blistering critique of the very institution he represented. Jackson's face hardened at first, but inside, something shifted. The fury in Maya's voice, raw, unfiltered, pierced through the pride and the training he had been given. He'd been ready to dismiss her as just another difficult woman, a stereotype he'd long held. But now he wasn't so sure. "Let me guess," Maya continued, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "You thought I was just another difficult woman driving a fancy car, right?" Jackson stayed silent, the words sticking in his throat. For the first time, he wasn't sure what to say. A gnawing feeling, guilt, began to claw at him. Deep down, something whispered to him, "Maybe she's right. Maybe I was wrong." Jackson fumbled with the papers, his hands slightly trembling as he checked Maya's documents for a second time. His earlier confidence had evaporated, replaced by an unmistakable nervousness. The air between them had shifted, and it was clear that Maya's words had planted a seed of doubt in his mind. The realization hit him like a cold wave. Her status, her connections, her very identity could unravel not just his career, but the whole system that had allowed him to hold such power over people like her. He cleared his throat, still avoiding her gaze. "Ma'am, I apologize," he muttered, his voice lower, strained. "I shouldn't have—" He paused, not knowing exactly how to finish the sentence. The apology hung awkwardly in the air, a hollow attempt at restoring what he had broken. Maya's expression remained calm, but inside, a fierce sense of victory surged. She had exposed the injustice, and in that moment, she felt the weight of every instance like this, every person who had faced similar prejudice. This wasn't just her battle. It was for thousands who had been silenced. With quiet resolve, she nodded and slipped her ID back into her purse. Without a word, She started the car and smoothly pulled away, her heart beating with purpose. Her path was clear. She would fight for equality, for justice, and nothing, no officer, no stereotype, would stand in her way.